I'm going to get started in just a couple seconds here. This is a webinar for SEO basics. Glad you guys are here and want to just welcome you. This is Tanner Consulting. I started Tanner Consulting a few years ago, and I offer marketing strategy services. And I also offer these free webinars to hopefully give you guys some good advice to make some improvements on your own. So I hope you got some pen and paper to write down some notes. I did send the electronic notes. If you still need those, just, let me know in the chat and I'll be sure to send those to you. In today's session here, we are going over a lot of, again, the basics of SEO. And if you're familiar with SEO and what it is, you understand it's very vast, very large. And so in this 30-minute session, we won't be able to cover everything and really go into detail, but I want to give you some of the basics. That way you understand when people, if somebody calls you to says, hey, I'm an SEO expert and I want to help you with your company, you kind of have an idea of, what they're proposing to you, what they're offering, so you get a better idea of how much you actually want to invest in it if you are looking for an SEO expert. So we're going to go over what is SEO, how does it work, why it's so important, and what you can do to improve your SEO today, as well as some free SEO tools out there that will help get you started. So yeah, I hope you guys are ready for this. And let me bring this up for you as well. Again, let me know if at any point you would like the notes sent to you. I can put them in the chat. That way you have them there as well. All right, so first thing is, let's go over what SEO is. So SEO, this basically stands for search engine optimization. To put it as simply as I can, it means the process of improving your site, your website, to increase its visibility when people are searching for products or services related to what you do and what you offer. These website searches are typically conducted on Google, on Bing, and other search engines. Google being the most. Searches being done on Google. Out of all the search platforms, Google is used over 92% of the time, with the other ones falling very slow behind. The better visibility that your website has in search results, or basically the higher in ranking your search has, the more likely you are to earn attention from views and potentially attract, customers and hopefully some leads to your business. And so how does SEO actually work? So search engines such as Google and Bing, like I mentioned, they use something that are called bots to crawl on your web pages, going from site to site, that's collecting information about the pages it's on and putting them in an index. To give you a visual, you want to picture like a spider literally crawling around each page on the internet, reading its content and putting all of this data back into this database. Another way to put it is a very big library, a giant library with a librarian who goes through and can pull up any book on any topic that you're looking for at any time, because they have read and indexed all the books in the library. So those are like, each book is like a web page in that scenario. So the next thing in the how it works is, once they're crawled, then there's something called an algorithm. The algorithm analyzes each of the pages within the index, and it's taking into account hundreds of different type of ranking factors or signals, can't talk today, to determine the order the page should appear on the search results given for any type of search query. And so basically what they're doing is they're looking at the quality of the content on the page. They're looking at how the page is structured, if it has all the right signals, like the title, the headers, all that good stuff, the meta descriptions. If all that's in place, it's going to say, okay, this website is more important than another website that's talking about the same topic. And so in our libraries analogy, or the spider analogy, they have read every single page and every single book in the library or on the web and then they know exactly which ones to spit out when somebody searches for something. So why is this important, and how does this help small businesses grow? So SEO is an essential is an essential part of basically digital marketing, and how, because people are searching several million trillion times every single year on Google for different information, and with the intent to find more information about products or services and make a sale. So for brands, search is typically the main source of organic digital traffic, and it's paired with other marketing channels such as your social media accounts or for YouTube. And so making sure that your website is optimized with the right keywords so people search, when people are searching for those topics, you're getting found, is very important for your business. So getting greater visibility, ranking higher than your competitors can make a big difference in your bottom line. So it's always good to know what your competitors are doing, what keywords they're using, and we'll get a little bit into that further down. So it's also true that search results are the search results that people are receiving over the past few years have also grown and evolved and changed, in some cases improved. It has also shown that the search results are providing results that are more likely going to keep users on the search page itself. I don't know if you've ever noticed, maybe you'll search in Google for a certain question, and without even having to go into it, click on a web page, you get a little box on the top that actually gives you the answer. It's pulling the content from the top page on there, but you can sometimes get the meat of what you're looking for without even having to actually click on the website. That can be good or bad, because this is resulting in less traffic to our websites, but ultimately the users are getting the information that they need. And if they are remembering, if they look at that information, they can see the URL where it's coming from. Hopefully they're remembering where they got their good, valuable information from, and can come back to you in the future. And so, this features like those rich results I was talking about, and the knowledge panels that show up in Google search results, it's increasing visibility for your brands, but it can also result in reducing traffic to your actual page. And so, as I was saying, it's why it's also SEO is important for small business, is because it's the foundation of a well-rounded marketing strategy. When you understand what your website users want, what they're looking for, what they're searching for. So this all goes back to what I was talking about earlier, is really understanding what your customers need, what they're looking for, and those are what the keywords you want to incorporate on your website. So once you understand what users really need, what they're looking for, what answers they're searching for, you can begin to implement that knowledge across your campaigns, your paid campaigns, your organic campaigns, on your website, on your social media, everywhere. Once you find that nugget, where if you look at your search, you can use tools like Google Analytics, you can use Google Search Console to see what terms people are using to land on your web page. Once you figure out what those terms are, you can start to really capitalize on that and use those keywords more frequently in your content on your websites. And so that's one way to use those great tools, Google Analytics, Google Search Console. And so, as we said, it's very important for businesses to really start implementing SEO into the website. So now I want to give you 5 tips on how we can do that. So managing SEO for small business, it can appear to be daunting and difficult for some. For a small business owner, it's even more critical than large businesses and larger brands, because larger brands have a big income. They have revenue to use towards their marketing, and that, towards advertisements that's getting them up on the top of the search. Small business owners, we don't have that excess cash to throw around. So we really have to rely on what we can do organically. And so let's see what we can do to improve our organic positioning. And I want to say these are hacks, but they're not really hacks. They're just really what we should be doing in the first place to really improve the health of our website and improve the chances of our website showing up when people are searching for topics related to what we do. So the first one is optimize your website for SEO. There are two different types of SEO to consider when we're talking about our website. There's on-page and then there's off-page. On-page SEO really focuses on what we can do to optimize different parts of our website that's within our control. That's like, and which I'll get into now, like, the titles, page headers, keywords, stuff we can manually enter into our website. The off-page SEO refers to stuff like our domain authority, which could come from user-generated content. So if somebody reads one of our articles and then shares it to their followers by, saying, here, watch, read this link or watch this video, they're now sharing that link back to our site, and they're adding some reasons why they're recommending it. So that's user generated content. And then it's also backlinks, earning backlinks from other websites to our website, and we'll discuss that too in a couple of seconds. So today we're going to focus on on-page SEO, though. This is the stuff that we can do today to make an impact. The other off-page stuff is really out of our control. We can't make other people create backlinks to our site. We can't make our followers create user-generated content for us. We can encourage them to do it. We can ask them to do it, but we can't physically make them do it. We can, however, go in and change some of the stuff on our sites. So that includes creating more high-quality content. Obviously, content is king. This includes, going back to that search, what are people searching for, how they're getting to your website, what questions are they trying to answer. Based on those type of questions, create blogs, create pages that answer those questions. That way people are finding the information they need, and they know you're a valuable resource. And so you want to make sure you're creating high quality content that's relevant to your audience. You want to make sure your page titles are relevant. An example of that is this coffee chat that I'm doing. I could make a page on my website that says coffee chat SEO basics. You and I would know what that is because you've registered for this event, so you've seen something. But later on down the road, when somebody sees that content, they may not know what coffee chat is, and it may not be relevant to them. So they may, skim over my post, not realizing the content that's in it. So a better title would be skip right to it, SEO basics for small businesses. That's very clear. It doesn't matter that the content originally came from a coffee chat event. They're still getting the content they need. So you want to make titles and page titles, blog titles very clear and specific for what the topic is about. And, stay away from, insider talk or lingo that may not be relevant to the user. If it's relevant to the user after they read the article, then we're missing the point. We want to make sure that we're making the catchiness within the article after we've got them into the page and they understand why they're there. And that's the same thing. So page titles and headers, same type of thing. We want those to be very clear. I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you're the one in your company that's going into your website, creating pages, updating pages. If that is you, and you may have noticed sometimes as you're typing, you can change the font, and you probably see something that's called like H1, H2, H3, or header 1, header 2, header 3. Those not only do they change the way the font looks, make it bigger in most cases, it also is a coded signal for the website. So when these spiders and librarians are going around the internet trying to find information that's valuable to be able to show up in search results, they're looking for not only the content of what is on it, but the structure of the page as well. So we really take advantage of those H1, H2 titles because those are significant, and the bots are looking for stuff like that, and including the next one, which is meta descriptions, meta titles. Those are very similar to the title and the description you're probably already using. Many times you can actually just take the first paragraph of your content and put as the meta description because you've probably introduced the topic there. And that's just fine. But you want to make sure that if you have a space on your website to do that, there's a space for meta title, meta descriptions. Take advantage of that, use that, and start putting the content there because there are different fields that are pulling that information, and you want to be able to use that. Other places are images. If you're loading images on your website, which we should be, there's things called image alt text, which is like alternated text. Basically, it's taking your image and giving it a title or description. So, and the search engines, again, the bots are looking at that type of stuff as well. So if you have images without alt text, information provided, it puts down, in the rank your content. It puts up in rank when people are filling out all this information. Other things are like your URLs. Again, same thing as the title and the header, making sure it's very clear, relevant, and also it's including the keywords that you really want to pop out. Those keywords, again, are always going to be important for SEO. So if you've got a main keyword on the topic you're sharing about, make sure it's in the page title and the headers, in the meta descriptions and the URL. All those are important. Another thing that helps your on-page SEO is internally linking. And that means linking to your own content. So let's say you have a page on your website that talks about the services you offer, a particular service. And in that description on that page of your services, you mention a particular topic. And let's say you've written a blog post already on that topic, you should link to that blog post. I don't know if you've ever been on a website yourself where you're reading content and within the post, they've hyperlinked a certain phrase. And when you click on that, it takes you to new content that kind of expands on that particular phrase. And so you want people to do that. You want people to stay on your website, go to different pages. The more they get to know you, to know your brand, to see your expertise, the more they get to like you. So the more you can interlink information, the better. And the bots are also looking for two other things that we can have a little bit of control over, and that's mobile responsiveness and site speed. Mobile responsiveness means basically, if you're always on your website, on your computer, you need to look at your website on a mobile device. How does it look? Is it formatted properly? Or is the content being shrink down? Many website platforms now give you the option to make it automatically does it in most cases now. Is it your websites are becoming mobile responsive, so where it is shrinking down and does look smooth on a mobile device. So you want to make sure that that is enabled, because the bots want to look for that type of stuff as well. And also site speed, how quickly is your website loading, and people able to get to the information they need. That's as well is key and important. And again, these spiders and librarians are looking for stuff like that because they want to give the user the best experience. Their point and their purpose is to help the person who's searching, not for us. They're helping the person who's doing the searching. And so if they're going to give somebody the results that are going to come quickly to them, that if they're on their phone, they can see it clearly and that it's a good experience for them and that they're getting all the information that they need. And so you want to make sure those things are stuff that we can start implementing now to slowly start getting and seeing better results on search results when people are looking for your content. Other ways we can improve our SEO starting today is creating a content strategy for your business. I am a content strategist, and so this is one of my favorite topics, is creating content strategies. And we all know that content is king when it comes to your SEO impact. So to maximize your SEO impact of your website, it's essential to set goals and of providing quality content for the readers and create a pattern and a consistent pattern of content that you can provide. And so in the case of small businesses, the need to offer added value with your content is huge, because the big name brands have done such a great job and with lots of money to build, awareness and to build trust. And so it's harder for a small business to do that. So on our own, we have to do as much as we can to show as much content and quality as possible. And to do this, you want to put yourself in the shoes of your target audience and answer their questions, their concerns, their doubts. What is it if somebody came to you today and needed your service, like why did they need your service? What questions, what problems, what issues, what challenges are they facing? Those are the questions you want to answer. So that way, when people find your site, they're seeing, oh, you do know me, you understand what I'm going through, and you can add value to their life. So it's the kind of content that you want to focus on when you're creating, the occasional blog post or social media post about your company's a new hire to your team. That's cool. It's fun. Holidays, it's cool, it's fun. It doesn't add too much value to the customers though in terms of solving their problems. And so it does help for people to get to know you, but you want to focus majority of your content on what can you do to provide your audience with quality content that's going to benefit and help them out. The third strategy is your target, choose target specific keywords to help your SEO rankings. And again, this all goes back, if you've seen a pattern, it all goes back to, okay, what does your customer need? What problem are they trying to solve? What challenges are they facing? And when you think of those questions and sentences, those are the type of keywords you want to come up with. So if you want to be seen and be heard, you need to work hard to stand out for your competition and really put your value proposition on display. Using specific keywords on your website to help drive traffic, you need to know where you can then provide them with quality information, quality advice on your product and services. So when it comes to selecting the right keywords, you really want to think about, again, the people you're searching for. You know, big companies like Nike, they can get away with having a keyword like, you know, shoes or sneakers, like very, you know, quick and to the point. When you think of Nike, that's, I mean, when I said Nike, that's probably some of the things you thought of is shoes and probably sneakers. Even though they do offer other type of shoes, like they have Nike sandals, you probably still thought of sneakers first because that's what they're really known for. But my point is, have a small business owner who is, you know, maybe making sneakers here, like they can't just put, you know, sneakers as a keyword in their search term, because if somebody searches that, likely what's going to come up is the Nike, Adidas, all those other big names. However, if you use more long-term keywords, and so there's short tail and long tail keywords. Short tail keywords, just as it sounds, it's a lot shorter. It's sneakers, it's shoes. Those are very short words. For small business owners who want to get found locally, you really need to do something like most valuable or most durable sneakers in Montgomery County. That's very specific. Now, this person doesn't need to search exactly that. If somebody in Montgomery County searches for durable sneakers, because your long tail keyword is most durable sneakers in Montgomery County, and if you're in Montgomery County, then somebody who searches that should find your business. And so that's what I mean by long tail keywords. It's obviously longer, a lot more words, but it incorporates a little bit more detailed, and it helps your company stand out a lot more and get higher ranking because you're being a little bit more specific in the words that apply to your website and the keywords and the terms that people are looking for. Another way we can improve our SEO is, as I mentioned before, getting those active and passive links. Those are those backlinks where people are referring your content because they've either read it and they appreciate it, or you have reached out to a potential partner and said, hey, I see that you share content on this topic. I have an article that I've written. Can you please share this with your followers? Asking people, there's nothing wrong with that. And, you may have actually gotten, requests yourself saying, somebody reaching out to you saying, hey, I write on some similar information. Can you share my article with readers? That is a, good source of backlinks. And again, when those spiders and librarians are going around looking for the information all over the internet, they're looking for credibility. So they're looking for, okay, does your website have the content we need? Okay, great, check. Is your structure on your website looking good? You've got everything filled in that you should? Okay, awesome, check. Okay, what do other people think? How many people are linking to your content already? If nobody's linking to your content, that means there's not much authority in that area. And so somebody else with more authority in that area and getting more backlinks will get higher on the search results. And so it all compiles and adds up. But each little bit we can do counts and improves. And so getting those backlinks is good. And then I touched on it earlier, but launching a local SEO strategy is very important. It combines both things I'm passionate about, strategy as well as local small businesses. The last, it's really important for local, as I was saying, like local business to really improve their SEO, to really get found locally. I mean, I can't tell you how many times in the last month myself, I have searched for something and I use the term something, you know, let's say I was searching for ice cream, you know, ice cream shop near me. Like that term is getting very, you know, popular on Google when people are searching for local things that they can go out and interact with right now. So you want to make sure that you're adding those type of keywords and key terms near me to your search engines. And then the, you know, the SEO for small business with physical headquarters in a location. So like if you have a brick and mortar store where people can come to your office or come to your store, you really want to make sure that you are really beefing up, because that really helps your local SEO, as well as being able to have that location, as well as, you know, putting in those keywords. And this really will bring traffic to your store, since users who do this type of search are interested in that specific product or service and in acquiring it in a particular location. So they already know exactly what they want. They know where they want to go. So all we have to do is make sure that everything is set up on the back end to make sure that when they search for it, we're the ones showing up. And what's really important is local positioning strategies really depend significantly on Google My Business. People are searching in Google, so you want to make sure your Google My Business is all, you know, their profile is updated in there. So if you don't have a Google My Business account already, that would be your number one assignment today, is start doing that right now, because it's key. It's connected to so many different things, and it really helps. If you've ever searched for a business on Google and you've seen, like on the, I would say this side for you, on the right side, that little profile where it shows you like a snippet of their history and shows you like their reviews and, you know, ratings. That's where that comes from, is Google My Business. So you want to make sure your business has one of those and is seen when people are searching. And so the last thing I wanted to get to before we wrap up today is some of those free SEO tools that I mentioned. There are a ton of tools out there when it comes to SEO. There's hundreds of them. However, a lot of them are, especially the professional ones, can cost you around $100 or more a month just to access and use. And, you know, given that we're here today talking about SEO basics for small business owners, I'm not looking for anything that's going to cost a lot of money. I want, you know, what can I do right now for free? And so that's what I'm here to give you. If you have the notes I provided, you'll have links to everything I'm about to mention. If you don't, again, please let me know and I'll get those notes to you so you can link in access all these free tools right away. And so the first category is keyword research tools. We've got stuff like Google Keyword Planner. If you've ever heard of that, it helps you find unique keyword ideas. So if you're stuck with what keywords to use, you can put in a topic and it will give you some unique keywords you can try and use. There's also, for keyword searches, Keyword Generator, and it also similarly, it generates hundreds of different keyword ideas for you to try. Excuse me, there's also a thing called SERP Checker. It's SERP Checker, and it checks the estimated search traffic potential for a particular topic based on the top 3 results. And so if you want to know how often people are searching for a particular topic before you invest in writing a blog about it, you can use that. And then there's Keyword Difficulty Checker. I mentioned, you know, we want to do some long-term keywords, but if your long-term keywords are getting to be too specific, too difficult, and you want to check the score on how specific it is, and maybe we should, you know, change it around, Keyword Difficulty Checker will help you with that. For your on-page SEO tools I mentioned, if you have your website in WordPress, there is a plugin called Yoast. That's YOAST SEO. It's phenomenal and does a great job. And they have a paid version, but they also have a free version that helps. It prompts you to put in all those stuff I was talking about, that title, making sure you have headers, title tags, metadata descriptions, all the keywords. It prompts you to make sure all that's filled in. So that's great. Ahrefs is a great resource. They have a lot of paid tools out there, but they also have some free tools. And so one of their free tools is the Ahrefs Webmaster Tools. And that also, what you do is you put in your URL and it will kind of like analyze it. It'll give you a quick audit and it will tell you if any of your pages or blogs are missing those page titles or meta descriptions, any text where any of those key areas where the bots are crawling for. If it's missing it, it'll let you know so you can go back and fill those in on your website. Link building tools. There's again, Ahrefs, great source. They have a backlink checker, and it will give you an opportunity to see if there are already any backlinks to your website existing. If there are, that's great. You can actually maybe reach out to those people and say, hey, I see you're linked to one of my articles. I've also written an article on this. Do you want to link this as well? So that's a great opportunity there. There's a thing called Haro, Haro. It also gives you link opportunities. So basically, it gives you opportunities to share your content and possibly be able to link to, ask people to link to your back again. And then they list Gmail as a link building tool. Makes complete sense because you need to, sometimes you're reaching out to people directly and just asking them, hey, I see you have this. Can you link to some of my content? So Gmail, free tool that you can use to reach out to people. Technical SEO tools include the ones I've mentioned, Google Search Console and Google Analytics. Both of those free to use, very resourceful, very helpful. And so that is it in a quick nutshell. All right, guys, there you have it. That is our latest episode of the Coffee Chat. I am glad you watched. I hope you learned something really useful and that you can apply and practical right now to your business about SEO and improving your website performance. I do have future coffee chats coming up, so I hope that you can attend. And I really like that you stopped by the channel. So please do continue to come by. So like, subscribe, share our content so other people can find it as well. And again, I hope you truly find value in what you've got here. So we appreciate it. And if you are watching this when it was posted, which is in October of 2021, next month, this November 2021, we are going to have another coffee chat where we're going to talk about our marketing goals for 2022, how to set the right marketing goals and make the most of them throughout the rest of the year. So I hope you can attend live for that one. If not, you'll see the replay later on. But as always, thanks for stopping by our channel and we appreciate you. Bye.